أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Young scholars, let's have a look at this passage and try to understand it perfectly. The passage is: the test of a great book is whether we want to read it only once or more than once. Any book which we want to read the second time even more than we wanted to read it the first time is really a great book. Every additional reading will help us understand it better, and we will find new beauties in it. A book that a person of education and good taste does not care to read more than once is very probably not worth much. Just for your information, and you can tally it, there are 86 words in this passage. Let's try to understand the main ideas of the passage, the main points of the passage. Have a look at it. What is the test of a great book? If we want to read some book more, every additional reading makes us find new beauties in it. A book which does not make an educated person read it more must be of less worth. The question raised in this passage is: what is the test of a great book? When we go through this passage, so we come to know that there are three main ideas, main points which respond to this question. Have a look at all these 3 points. They shall help us understand the criteria of a great book. So there are 3 main ideas. There are 3 main points. Now, if you are requested to suggest some suitable title, so what can the title of the passage be? The test of a great book. So this should be the title of this passage. How can we say that this is the most suitable title? Because the whole passage talks about what is meant by a great book, or what a great book is, or which book can be called a great book. Have a look at it. We have the original passage and the highlighted main ideas or the main points of the passage. The question: the original passage has its expression. All these highlighted main ideas also have some expression, or the expressions of both the original text and the highlighted main ideas the same? If they are the same, it means we highlighted the main points accurately. One more thing that's very, very important. This original passage has 3 C's. C's. The first C stands for continuity. The second C stands for clarity. And the third one stands for completeness. This passage, it is written with continuity, with clarity, and with completeness. Now apply all these 3 C's on our highlighted main points. They are written with the same continuity. Do these main points have clarity? Number 3, or these highlighted main ideas complete as far as the message of the passage is concerned? I think that these highlighted main ideas, they have the same continuity, they have the same clarity, and they have the same completeness. So they are the same in this context as well. Now the next phase is that it's we to abridge, convert these 3 highlighted points, including the first point which contains the question. Let's abridge all these main points into one paragraph. In simple word, let's write all these highlighted main points in one paragraph, but with the condition of as brief as possible. Let's try. A great book is the one which we want to read more, to discover new beauties. But if it does not do so, it must be substandard. Keep in mind that the word substandard is used in this context. A great book and a substandard book. A book which has a less worth is called substandard book. This is our abridgment of all the main points, all the main highlighted points. Let's make a comparison between 2 passages. The first one is the original one, and the other passage is the passage which we created based on the main ideas given in the original text. The original passage, it contains 86 words, and the passage which we created, it contains 27 words. Now it's we to see whether The expressions of both the passages are the same, first thing. The second point is whether all three C's are the same. The continuity which was there in the original passage, is this continuity over there in our passage? The clarity the original passage has, does our passage have that clarity? Number 3, or the third C is, as the original passage is complete in its context, is our passage complete or not? I think that the passage which we created, it has the same expression, it has continuity, it has clarity of the message in the passage which the author of the original passage tried to give. Our passage has the same message. Then, as the original passage is complete in its message, our passage is also complete in the original message, the message which the author wanted to give. Original passage. The test of a great book is whether we want to read it only once or more than once. Any book which we want to read the second time, even more than we wanted to read it the first time, is really a great book. Every additional reading will help us understand it better, and we will find new beauties in it. A book that a person of education and good taste does not care to read more than once is very probably not worth much. Now, have a look at our passage. A great book is the one which we want to read more to discover new beauties. But if it does not do so, it must be substandard. This second passage, the passage which we created, which contains all the main points of the original passage, this is called Precis. Let's have a look at one more example before we discuss the Precis writing skills in detail. As a passage number 2, let's try to understand it perfectly. And you know that what is meant by that? We have another word for that, comprehend. The word comprehend means to understand something perfectly. So let's read the passage to comprehend it. We are reading the passage for comprehension. Let's read it. A good book is one of our best friends. It is the same today that it always was, and it will never change. It is the most patient and cheerful of companions. It does not turn its back upon us in times of adversity or distress. It always receives us with the same kindness, amusing and instructing us in youth, comforting and consoling us in age. This is the original passage. A good book is our best friend. This is the point raised, discussed in this passage. And it is also discussed that how can we call a good book our best friend? So there are 8 points mentioned in this passage. And let's have a look at all those 8 points which make us believe that a good book is our best friend. All of them are over there in the original passage. The first point is, it is the same today that it always was. Number 2, it will never change. Number 3, it is the most patient and cheerful companion. Number 4, we see an idiom over here. It does not turn its back upon us. And after that, in number 5, there's a phrasal expression. In times of adversity or distress. So point number 4 and 5 says that it does not turn its back upon us in times of adversity or distress. Point number 6 is, it always receives us with the same kindness. Point 7 is, it is amusing and instructing us in youth. And the last point, point number 8 is, it's comforting and consoling us in age. So these are the 8 points, main ideas mentioned in the original passage. And on the basis of all these 8 points, the author of this passage says that a good book is our best friend. Why? Because of all these 8 points. The question for all of you: what can be the most suitable title of this passage? If I say that the most suitable title of this passage should be Friendship of Books or Companionship of Books, what do you say? Or you are also of the same opinion that Friendship of Books or Companionship of Books is the most suitable title for this passage. Let's move forward. You know that we have highlighted 8 points. Let's try to shorten them, brief them. How? By abridging them, by joining them, by replacing some group of words with one word or with minimum words. Let's try. The first point is, It is the same today that it always was. And the second point is, it will never change. Can we say that this friend of ours in the form of a good book is never changing? Do you agree? It is the same today as it was before, and it will never change in future. So what does it mean? You can say that it is never changing. See, we replace the first two main highlighted ideas with one phrase, that is never changing. Let's move forward. Point number 3 says, it is the most patient and cheerful companion. So, a good book is a companion with two traits, with two adjectives, with two qualities. Let's try to understand the concept of patient and cheerful. When we say patient, a patient companion, what do we mean by that? Patient means able to accept or tolerate what? Delays. What else? Problems. What else? Suffering. How? Without becoming annoyed or anxious. So the companion who tolerates all these troubles, problems, sufferings without becoming annoyed or anxious is called patient. Means the one who doesn't lose his temperament, the one who stays cool and calm, the one who stays happy. What did he say? The one who stays happy, the one who remains happy in all these circumstances, conditions, situations. No. Happy companion. The other word is cheerful, and the word cheerful also means happy. This point is clear. So point number 3 is, it is the most patient and cheerful companion. Can we simply say a cheerful companion? Because the word cheerful, it includes that trait, that point. Because the word cheerful includes this concept of happiness. Cheerful is the one who is happy. This point is clear. Then there is that point number 4. It does not turn its back upon us. It's an idiom. To turn one's back upon someone. To turn one's back upon someone. What does it mean? It means to abandon, to leave. And number 5 is, in times of adversity and distress. What does it mean? It means in sorrow. Point number 4 and 5. It does not turn its back upon us in times of adversity and distress. Can we say that? It does not abandon in sorrow. Can we abridge point number 4 and 5 into a sentence that it does not abandon in sorrow? I think we can. And keep in mind that the one who does not live in sorrow, the one who does not live in distress, the one who does not live in adversity, such person is called loyal. This point is clear. The next is point number 6. It always receives us with the same kindness. Here's a point. The person who always receives someone with the same kindness whenever he or she meets, such person is called sincere. What? Sincere. And this quality is called sincerity. Point number 7 is that amusing and instructing us in youth. So the person who amuses and instructs, such person is called guide. To amuse and instruct someone means to guide someone. Our highlighted point number 8 is comforting and consoling us in old age. So to comfort and console, we have one word for that as well. That is to relieve. What? Relieve or soothe. S-O-O-T-H-E. The points are clear. Once again, we converted point number 1 and 2 into never changing. Now point number 3, there were 2 adjectives, patient and cheerful. So we converted these 2 into one, that the word cheerful, it includes the meaning of happiness as well. Then there was point number 4. There was an idiom, and we replaced that idiom with the word abandon. And then there was a phrase, in times of adversity or distress. So we have another word for that, that is in sorrow. And then we converted point number 4 and 5 into one sentence, that is, it does not live in sorrow. Then there was point number 6, and we found that such person is called sincere. The one who receives us with the same kindness is called sincere. And point number 7, we came to know that if we write guide, so this word guide, it includes both the words amusing and instructing. And point number 8 is that comforting and consoling, we can use one word for these 2 words. And what's that one word? That is relieve or soothe. Now let's move forward. These are the 8 highlighted points, the main ideas. Let's convert all these 8 points into one paragraph. Let's abridge them. Let's join them. Have a look at it. A good book is a never-changing, cheerful, loyal and sincere friend, guiding us in youth and relieving us in old age. The paragraph says, A good book is a never-changing, cheerful, loyal and sincere friend, guiding us in youth and relieving us in old age. What do you say? That expression of the original passage and the passage which we created, expressions of both the passages are the same? I think so. Both the passages are written with the same continuity, with the same clarity, with the same completeness. So we can say that this passage is the Précis of the original passage. Passage number 1, it comprises 66 words, whereas our passage contains 21 words. Let's have a summary of our today's session. We read the passage, the original passage, passage 1 and passage 2. There were 2 passages now. We read the passage to understand it perfectly. To understand it perfectly means to comprehend it. The second point, we comprehended the passage and highlighted all the main ideas given in the passage. This was our step number 2. The third step which we took, we substituted a group of words with one word or with minimum words. Number 4, we substituted idiom. Idiom is figurative language, ornamental language. And we replace this figurative language with simple language. I'm sure you remember that there was idiom, to turn one's back upon means to leave, to abandon. Point number 5, we abridged, we joined all the highlighted main ideas into sentences, into a paragraph. Point number 6, which we discussed today, was we rewrote the original passage with the same expression and with all 3 C's, means with the same continuity, clarity and completeness. These were the 6 points which we discussed today. I request you, the people, to please do practice. Read the passage, highlight the main ideas, and then do the same which we did today. Please practice it. Till the next session we meet. Why? To discuss the Précis writing skills in detail. And keep in mind that we try to create 2 Précis. This word is a singular as well as plural. When it is a singular, it is pronounced as Précis. When it is plural, it is pronounced as Precis. What is meant by Précis? How is Précis written? We shall discuss in detail in the sessions to come, inshallah. Till then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. See you soon.